Welcome to part 3 of my first trip to Westpoint in the Razor. Now at this point, I catch up with the group I had talked to earlier. I was too slow getting ready earlier in the day, so when they took off, I was left behind. However, I found them again back at the parking spot, so I joined up with them to hit the trails again. Accepting the fact that I'm a noob in the Razor, and this is my first time at Westpoint, I take up the rear of the group. And this meant that I got to eat dust. You got to admit, eating dust while riding in your Razor is much better than not eating dust while at work. So, I'm not complaining, although I may point it out several times during the ride.
Get down and shake it when the beat drop. Get up.
Alright, joined up with these guys. The guy in the front, his name is Eric. I'm not sure about the other ones, they're his friends. I get to eat dust following them. Thought we was going back to that bowl. They wanted to go watch people crash, but this is the opposite direction. I haven't been to these trails yet, so I don't know. But I get to eat dust. They all look like smaller Razors up there too, like 8s or 900s. Trying to figure out what they want to do. And we're cacking son of a gun. Throat's healing, but yeah. They're gonna wait on the beer. Apparently, one of these has got some friends. One of these guys got some friends, other friends that are coming up. They must be bringing some beer, some more beer. They've already been drinking beer. I'm just drinking tea. What are we doing? We're going to go to the bowl. They decide to go ahead and go.
Now these guys like to go fast, which is okay. But they were running your standard Bighorn tires, which makes for a more comfortable ride. Makes it easier to go fast. Whereas my Outlaws are very rough on a harder surface. It tends to slow you down. So I would find myself falling back.
I gotta say, I am enjoying this. So here we go, where I reversed out of this mess earlier. But apparently, of course, they got a shorter base on theirs too, so it's not as hard for them to get through.
Since I shot this video, I have been back to Westpoint and followed other crews on much more precarious trails, up and down much steeper hills and been through much deeper holes. This particular trail is a cakewalk in comparison, but at the time, I'll admit, I was a little nervous. If you listen carefully, my commentary at the time makes my concern obvious.
That's the one I decided not to do earlier. I think this is the one where I stopped and reversed out before too. So I was a little concerned about it. Another scary one. Got me a little muddy. Hit that thing going too hard. Got my mud all over me. Dirty water. Oh well.
We finally made it to the bowl. So, let the fun ensue. The bowl is one of the biggest attractions of the Westpoint system of trails. There is another equally sought after attraction at the Westpoint trails, and I think it's called the two-step. I'm not sure about that, so don't quote me on that. Anyway, I didn't make it to the two-step during this trip. I thought I was, and when this group was done at the bowl, they decided to go to the two-step. So we took off with me in the rear. Now remember how I said these guys like to go fast? Well, they did, and I fell back while navigating through the trees. By the time I got to the main road, I had no idea which way they had went. I tried for a little while to catch up to them, but that effort was to no avail. After a while, I decided it was getting late enough in the day and I would go home. I will be back to Westpoint and continue to explore and enjoy the trails. I will meet another group and ride with them as well. They will be easier to keep up with. Well, at least as far as speed goes. But the trails that they lead me on will be, well, let's just say, a little more challenging.